everybody. Welcome back to Thrillers by the Book Club podcast. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Olivia, and we are so excited to be talking to you today about thrillers, mysteries, and all kinds of stuff.
Hello.
Hi. How are
How's
you
it
going?
Going. It's happening. We're recording this on a day off of work, which is very nice for me personally. I'm enjoying it greatly because I feel like you don't know that you need a break until you're forced to take one, and then you're like, yes,
Like, wow.
This is great, actually. I feel like I've gotten so many things done that I didn't even know I needed to do, which is such a good feeling.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you get to sleep in at least a little bit too?
No, of course not. My body says, when it's 6 a.m., my brain wakes up. My brain says, get up now. And then I do, because my brain's the boss of me. So 6 a.m., I'm up, I'm at 'em, not today because I don't have a puppy. So I just laid in bed and said, why am I not asleep?
Yeah,
till 7. Yeah,
so
just
you kind of did sleep in a little bit. Like you kind of had your nice.
I laid there enraged. If that's what you consider sleeping in, then yeah. I laid there
enraged. So you were awake.
Yeah, it was like you could literally be sleeping and you're awake. So
rude.
Yeah, I don't control my brain like that.
Yeah, I have to say, after the last time we chatted, we chatted off of the recording about this, but I was telling you about some insomnia I was having. And you gave me this amazing recommendation of Unisom.
Did it work?
And oh my gosh, game changer. Been so great.
I know.
The only thing I would say is I did go look up because I was getting some really bad groggy days the next morning for a couple of days. And then I looked, they were like, you just need to take it earlier than it says. It says 30 minutes before you go to bed, but really you take it way earlier.
I take it an hour plus before I go to bed.
Yeah. So that's the change I've been doing. And that it's so helpful. Because I'm also great. I think I'm going through starting to get into perimenopause, right? Because you're getting I'm older now and I've got all these things. So I'm like, why am I waking up in the middle of the night every night?
So annoying. It's the worst.
Anyway. But thank you for that tip. I'm just sending this out there to our listeners too. If you guys have insomnia, try this Unisom stuff.
It's so good. It's over the counter. Just go to Target. Be like, let me get it. I take it every night. And no, it's not good for you to take pills every night, but you can if you want. Do what you want.
But it's also not good for you to not sleep.
Right. For sure. And it's also not good for you for a lot of things. So who really cares? To be honest.
At this point, nothing matters. Nothing matters anymore.
Nothing matters. We're just trying to help you out. So if you're pro over-the-counter medication, Unisom. If you're not, then don't do it. Do what you want.
Yeah, do what you want. But if you want to sleep, it's a good one.
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much.
By the way.
No, we're not. We just enjoy.
So I got to do something really cool the other day. I'm really excited.
What is it?
I got to meet Alice Feeney.
Oh my gosh. Tell us all about it.
Okay, so she was at the Poison Pen in Scottsdale. And oh my gosh, so it was so fantastic. I went with a friend of mine from Book Club, which our book club is basically now just the two of us. And sometimes maybe someone else shows up, but it's pretty much the two of us. Whatever. Cool. So we had a great time. We went, and she is so beautiful and so posh, gosh, together. And I was like, oh my God, you're the classiest chick ever. And I was like, okay. So I had ordered one of our sweatshirts that we have a Feeney Foley wear and jewel. Yeah. So I ordered it. Obviously did not come on time, which is whatever, because of course it did. But I was I'm actually kind of glad that it didn't, because like, she's so posh that I feel like a sweatshirt would just not be.
She would be like, a sweatshirt?
She'd be like, what a stupid American.
What would I do with that? Give it to my butler?
So I was like, kind of glad that I didn't have it. I was like, I feel like she's too fancy.
Okay, why is it? It's so cool that she went to the Poison Pen, because I feel like no thriller writers ever go anywhere on the West Coast, and if they do, it's very rare. So that's super cool.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the Poison Pen is a really great location, I think, for thriller writers to come, because they are a New York Times reporting location. So it's also a benefit. And then, and they've been there forever. forever. Like, they're a huge institution. Obviously they have the Poison Pen Press now. Like, it grew. I didn't know they have a freaking store in London. They have a Poison Pen.
That.
I didn't know that either until they were talking about it.
That is very cool. Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Very cool.
So yeah, it was really great. So we've had some like good people this year. My goal is to try to see more. Because last year I wanted to go, but it just never really worked out.
Yeah.
So this year is like really making an effort. So next week is John McMahon, who wrote Head Cases, which is coming out January 28th today. And then in a couple weeks, Lisa Unger. I'm going to go see her. Yeah. It's just like, it's kind of, I don't know. It feels like these like mini celebrities are coming, and they're celebrities to us, right? But
obviously.
Yeah.
So cool. No one ever comes to California. It's a real bummer.
I know. I feel like, but you guys like, California's a lot of the conferences, so you get more people in that kind of thing. But but the store, I think this is the only other place they go to. It's like here, New York, Florida, and Houston.
Yes.
I don't know why. Lisa Jewell didn't make it. She was in the U.S., but she didn't come over here. She was like, not West Coast.
That's very disappointing.
Anyway, it was really cool. Really excited. She said that this was book 7. She has books planned through book 13.
Oh my gosh. How do you plan that far in advance is my question.
I don't know. And then she was like, either book 11 or book 13 will be in a new genre. I don't know how I feel about that.
What?
I was like, well, at least we've got a lot of thrillers coming.
What other genre?
She didn't say. She was like, I can't talk about it. I'm not going to say anything else other than, like, somebody asked her, like, would you ever write in another genre or something? And she was like, well, book 11 is technically another genre, but if I can't make that work, it'll switch with 13. And I was like, oh, okay. So
what?
Good to know. Is this like a limited time that we're going to get the good thrillers?
Okay, let's guess. No, my guess is the other genre is going to be paranormal romance. Yep,
you think
I said it. Yes, that's what every thriller author is like. You know what? Paranormal romance. That's the move. That's my guess. My official guess. I guessed it.
Okay, mine is fantasy. So I just think it's gonna happen. Fantasy, romantasy, as you do. I would really love to see something like super different though, like a historical fiction or like a memoir.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
No, we need Alice Beanie to write all the thrillers. So anyway, she is like just the most put together, poshest person. I just was like,
love that.
Yeah.
I'm like, hello.
Hi.
Got a princess wave.
Yeah. Also, side note, so you guys read The Best Lies by David Ellis, right?
Yes.
For your book club? We also read it for ours.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I thought it was not a thriller. It was like an FBI drama.
It was like it was a crime fiction, definitely. Like,
yeah, there was a lot of twists. In fact, too many twists. It was like flip flop, flip flop, flip flop. That was my opinion. Because like every time you were like, oh, and then it was like actually this, and you're like, okay, cool, and then it was like, but no, it was the first thing, and you're like, haha, and then it was like, it was actually the second thing, and you're like, but it was just, you said what? So that was my only thing. And then also there was a couple like really cool threads that were just left there. Like the woman who, I mean, I'm going to do a little slight spoilers.
The police officer.
The woman police officer who adopted, quote unquote, the kids. Like there could have been so much more cool backstory, and then it was kind of just like, lame.
Yeah.
Real lame. Also, like, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, what is it, like 2% of the population's left-handed? So the fact that she made him write left-handed when every single person in the entire world is right-handed, stupid. The fact that she made him dye his hair when literally every freaking teenager dyes their hair, just let it grow out. Like, who gives a flip?
Well, I mean, when they were young, though, like the whole thing is that they were supposed to be replacing existing.
They moved to a completely different town, super far away. Nobody knows you.
I would agree. I agree with that.
Girl, nobody cares. Nobody cares about your 2 rando kids. Like, nobody's like, oh, I see his blonde hair. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that he's right-handed or left-handed. Nobody cares what his hair color is. Like, and the fact that it was so much work to conceal the most inane details really irritated me when it was like, you could actually write about something interesting, but you're focusing so much on these small details. And that's like the thing about David Ellis. He does small details so well that you're like, oh my gosh, like I never would have guessed that. But he also does small details too, in my opinion, it's too much, where you're like, I didn't need to know he played his violin like 800 times and in the song he played, like I don't care.
Yeah, I could not. So I did end up DNFing it. I thought it was like, not that it wasn't well written. It was more of, so the main character has a little quirk around counting, and it was a lot. It was a lot, and I was just like, I want to like this book, but I cannot, because you've talked about this before too, where you're like, sometimes I think an author, and I'm not saying he did this, but sometimes authors will like pick something something that happens with the character, and they're like, okay, that's this defining thing, so I'm gonna lean into it, and I think you can, but it was over the top. It was so over the top. I was like, I physically am angry at this point. Like I couldn't keep reading it because I was so annoyed by it.
What point did you get to?
He was going on so it's early, like 20%. He was going to meet Cyrus, like the mob guy. He was going to his bar, strip club, or whatever thing.
So I'm just gonna say there's gonna be spoilers right now. So if you're listening and you don't want spoilers for David Ellis's book, The Best Lie, skip ahead like 2 minutes or a minute. So Andy is like she's like the crypto, like she's working with like the cyber place, you know?
Oh, right. Yeah, she's the one that's like undercover. Like
so she's undercover, and then after like half the book, she's like, and I work for the bad guy, and I have been dirty the whole time, and you're like, okay, and then she's like, and I worked for the FBI, pretending to be dirty the whole time. Like, it goes back and forth so many times where I'm just like, I've never cared less about anything in my whole life. Like, one twist, cool. 2 twists, okay. More than 2 twists, just shut up. I don't care about her.
Well, especially if it's the same character. Like, that's the thing. If it's different characters, you want to have all those different, like, twists and, like, all of those things. But the same character...
Like, the whole book is about her trying to, like, take these super, like, prevent these super elaborate like plan things from being stolen, and then she just walks out with them, and she's like, oh, and this is how you beat it, and she just walked away, and I was like, this is boring and dumb.
Yeah, I was just disappointed, especially after Look Closer was like so good. I think thing too, I think that one is much more like focused on domestic stuff, right? And then this one's much more like underground world, like crime and trafficking rings and all kinds of things like that, which are interesting. It's just not like what I'm the most interested in, you know?
I just feel like the book could have been like 50% shorter and would have been just as good. That's all. Like, take out most of it and it would still be good. Like, there was so much useless stuff where I was just, none of this matters. None of this matters. In fact, nobody cared, and no one does care, and no one ever will care. And then it just keeps going on and on about it. And it's like, can you just write something about the plot that we should care about, and not about like all these side things? Like, okay. Well, happy you brought it up.
Anyway,
it did annoy me. My book club liked it for the most part until I started talking about it, and then they were like, "Oh," and I was like, "Look, I'm so sorry." It's just like,
I know. Which, again, like, I mean, every book is different and it hits everybody differently. My other member of my book club said that she liked it. And I was just like, yeah, I really wanted to. I wanted to real bad. But I couldn't get past
I like him as an author, but it was a slog.
Yeah, I think that's what I texted you at one point. I was like, why does this feel like a slog? Like, this feels way slower or more difficult to get through than I would have expected. So
it was a real fight.
Anyway, but it's so rare that we're reading the same book at the same time, which is why I was like, we need to talk.
I'm happy we did, but we agree.
But we agree. Anyway, what else is going on in your world?
Can
you say anything about your audition?
I don't know anything yet. It's supposed to be this week that they're supposed to get back to me. So we'll see. I had know nothing. No one has said anything. So who can say? Not me. Not me.
Not you.
I don't know any information. So
okay.
I am loving this season of The Traitors, though.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm waiting until the season's done. I can't. I physically cannot take the suspense of waiting every week.
It's so good. And like, I just want to talk about it. Hey, whatever.
I know, I'm the worst.
It's just like, how can you, what's the point of waiting? You're going to see spoilers.
No, I won't. Why would I see spoilers? I'm not going to go out of my way to go see anything.
I know.
And in all the other seasons, like I've never seen a spoiler for it, so.
I want to spoil it for you.
Don't be rude. Don't be rude.
I won't, but I want to. Because I want to know what's happening because it's crazy. That's all.
I know. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's pretty crazy.
Really good people on this season. That's
really?
All.
Just why can't they? I liked when they did the first season, they did half and half. I know I say it every time, but it just really bugs me. It really does.
Thing is there used to be TV shows that came out 1 week at a time, episode by episode. And then streaming services were like, what a joke. We're going to provide streaming services. And now we're going backwards in time where we have to do one episode at a time once again. And we have to pay for like 8,000 streaming services instead of cable. It's just, and now people are like, if only we had a place where we can watch all the channels together.
Oh my God, I saw somebody say that. We're like, that was cable. Literally. We did have that. And it was so bucket.
You don't have to buy HBO Max and Peacock and Netflix and Hulu and all the different ones. You can just get cable. But they don't do that anymore because this place is a nightmare. Anyway,
I'd like to remove myself from this timeline.
Yeah. So pub day. Let's talk about that.
Okay, we've got a big pub day today. I'm very excited though because there's so many books I've been waiting for. I don't know about you. I'm really excited. Okay. Today is Tuesday, January 28th.
Yeah, it is.
Do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay, great.
I would love to start. So, pub day today. First book we have is called Head Cases by John Mahone from Minotaur.
I thought it was McMahon.
Well, I thought it was M. So how could it be?
McMahon. Yeah, McMahon.
Man. I don't know. It's Head Cases from Minotaur.
Okay, either way,
John. And there's what it's about. FBI agent Gardner Camden is an analytical genius with an affinity for puzzles. He also has a blind spot on the human side of investigations, a blindness that sometimes even includes people in his own life, like his beloved 7-year-old daughter, Camilla. Gardner and his squad of brilliant yet quirky agents make up the Patterns and Recognition Unit, the FBI's hidden edge brought in for cases that no one else can solve. When DNA links a murder victim to a serial killer long presumed dead, the team springs into action. A second victim establishes a pattern, and the murderer begins leaving a trail of clues and riddles, especially for Gardner. And while the PAR team is usually regulated to work in cold cases from behind a desk, the investigation puts them on the road and into the public eye, following in the footsteps of a killer. Along with Gardner, PAR consists of a mathematician, a weapons expert, a computer analyst, and their leader, a career agent. Each of them must use every skill they have to solve the riddle of the killer's identity. But with the perpetrator somehow learning more and more about the team, PAR, inside job, they can protect themselves and their families. Can they? Before it's too late? Who can say?
Who can say?
I feel like it's an inside job from that, I'm going to say. Also, have you ever seen Psych?
Oh my God, I love Psych. It's
right, the best. Doesn't this remind you of like that one episode when the killer is like taunting him and like, ooh, here's a clue just for you?
Oh, you mean like Yang?
Yeah.
Like the Yang killer. Oh my God, those are my favorite episodes too.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh my God, so excited. Okay, yeah, we gotta talk about that in a second. I felt like a little bit Criminal Minds-esque is what I was getting out of it.
Yeah, that too. I really like the idea of like a puzzle solving, like cryptology type unit. That's cool.
Yes, I'm so into it. And actually, I just finished last night book that came out. It's going to come out tomorrow, but it came out last week. A Killer's Code, or The Killer's Code by Isabella Maldonado.
Yeah.
And the main character is a cryptographer too. And it's like FBI agent. And so it's really, super interested in all of these. Also, I'm so excited you like psych.
I love psych.
Literally. So the other day, or like a week ago, I just had like a really long day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go downstairs and reward myself. And I watched Last Night Gus, which is my absolute favorite episode. It's the one where Gus has game.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And then he's like, hey, you have a face.
I do love. The thing is, though, I have to rewatch every single episode in order when I watch. I don't just watch one episode.
I watch the whole bounce around.
No, I've watched the whole show like 4 times.
Yeah. Me too. But what I'll do is like, if I'm like, oh, I want to really like have a good, I just want something specific. So I'll go to that episode.
I never do that.
Meat is murder, but murder is also murder. It's also a fave. And then the Clue episode, 100 Clues, where they're like 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's so good. If you guys have not watched Psych, it is one of just the best lighthearted mystery shows.
It is very lighthearted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some people.
It's so good.
Anyway, I guess we can get back to like pub day, the dark stuff. All right. Next up is We Are Watching by Allison Galen from William Morrow. Sometimes the world is out to get you. Meg Russo was behind the wheel when it happened. She and her husband, Justin, were driving their daughter, Lily, to Ithaca College, the family celebrating the 18-year-old music prodigy's future. Then a car swerved up beside them, the young man inside it behaving bizarrely, and Meg lost control of her own vehicle. The family road trip turned into a tragedy. Justin didn't survive the accident. 4 months later, Meg works to distract herself from grief and guilt, reopening her small local bookstore. But soon after she returns to work, bizarre messages and visitors begin to arrive, with strangers threatening Meg and Lily in increasingly terrifying ways. They are obsessed with a young adult novel called The Prophecy, which was published 30 years earlier. An online group of believers are convinced that it heralds the apocalypse, and social media posts link the book and Meg's reclusive musician father to Satanism. These conspiracy theorists vow to seek revenge on the prophecy's author, Meg. As the threats turn violent, Meg begins to suspect that Justin's death may have not been an accident. To find answers and save her daughter, her father, and herself, Meg must get to the roots of these dangerous lies and find a way to face the believers head on before it's too late.
All right. Okay. So this book, The Prophecy, was published 30 years before this, and Meg's like 40.
It doesn't say how old she is. Well, she has an 18-year-old daughter, so it could be anywhere. Like,
let's just say she's 50. So she wrote this book when she was 20 and published it?
I guess. I don't know.
That's the only thing I'm a little confused about. Like, so it said this book was published 30 years ago, and Meg is the author.
Yeah, I don't know. I pre-ordered this book, so hopefully I'm going to get it, and then I will let you know.
I'm very excited because that's the only thing. I'm like, maybe she wrote it as like a teenager and
prophesized all these things?
Who could say? All right.
I mean, if it's like Satanism and conspiracy theorists, you really could go.
You could go any direction.
Yeah. But Allison Galen wrote The Collective, and I just love that book so much. So I'm really excited for this one.
Okay. Next is The Family Inside by Katie Gardner from Mira. It takes a special family to turn a home into a nightmare. Since her husband's unsolved murder 3 years ago, Iris Blodgett's life has unraveled. Awash in grief and buried in debt, she can't pay her mortgage. And now that she's lost her job, she has no idea how she'll provide for her unruly teenage daughter, Ellery. Facing eviction, Iris turns to her new beau, prominent architect Hugh Small, for a shoulder to cry on. But the seemingly perfect Hugh offers her something more, an invitation to move into his mother's centuries-old mansion while he renovates the property. It seems like the perfect solution. But when Iris and Ellery arrive at Ravencliff, of course it has a name. Of course it does. At Ravencliff, the family inside isn't quite what they expected. Iris doesn't even know Hugh had siblings. She didn't even know Hugh had siblings, much less that they'd all be living together. Ugh.
Like,
With their parents?
you're just making some choices there, lady. Okay.
With their pairs underway, the house gives up its dark secrets one by one. Before long, Iris unearths a chilling family history and the terrifying reason that she and Ellery were invited in the first place.
I'm going to go, my guess is Ready or Not. Like it's a sacrifice kind of thing that they have to do. Supernatural. That's what my guess is.
I think that she's going to be the only woman, and they're marrying her to bring her into the family as like the next bloodline person.
Okay.
And women rule the family, and men can't because it's some sort of like woman cult.
Okay, I'm into it.
Yes.
This is also one I've pre-ordered, so I'm very excited.
Love it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, next up is a book I know you love that you convinced me to get immediately.
Go me. What is it?
Tell Me What You Did by Carter Wilson.
It's so good.
This is from Poison Pen Press. This is about Poe. She gets people to confess their crimes for a living. He knows she's hiding a terrible secret. It's time for the truth to come out.
Yeah,
Poe Webb hosts a popular true crime podcast, invites people to anonymously confess crimes they've committed to her audience. She can't guarantee the police won't come after her guests, but her show grants simultaneous anonymity and instant fame, a potent combination that's proven difficult to resist. After an episode recording, Poe usually erases both criminal and crime from her mind. But when a strange and oddly familiar man appears on her show, Poe is forced to take a second look.
He's creepy.
Not only because he claims to be her mother's murderer from years ago, but because Poe knows something no one else does. Her mother's murderer is dead. Poe killed him.
Or did she? Oh my God. So good. Can't wait. So good. Oh, man. If you guys didn't get that one already, get it. Yep. Next is The Psychopath Next Door by Mark Edwards from Thomas and Mercer. Ethan Dove's family has moved to a new home in a safe community, and it's exactly the fresh start they needed. Not only is his marriage to Emma hanging by a thread, but his son Dylan and 12-year-old daughter Rose deserve to have a happy childhood. After Rose is bullied by the boys across the road, Ethan is relieved when the woman who lives next door steps in. Fiona Smith has come into their lives at just the right moment, and when she offers to look after Rose during the school holidays, Ethan and Emma can't believe their luck, which is exactly what Fiona wants, because far from being the perfect neighbor, Fiona is the last person you should trust with your child. With a vicious plot for revenge, Fiona is happy to train Rose to be her accomplice, especially when she begins to suspect that Rose might not be as innocent as she appears.
I'm so excited for this one.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited.
It's a really good pub day.
Dude, right? Like, I so far of the ones we've talked about, I think I've pre-ordered half of them.
Yeah, I can see why. They're very good.
So good. All right. Next up is Trust Issues. This is by Elizabeth McCullough Keenan and Greg Wands. You would know them formerly as E.G. Scott. They are separating their names now instead of doing the pen names. I think they probably both got their own things going on too. So it's kind of cool. Anyway, it's from Dutton. This is a fresh take on the classic con man chase novel, following two adult siblings forced to play nice in hopes of tracking down the man they believe killed their mother and ran off with their sizable inheritance. Siblings Hazel and Kagan Bailey haven't been close for a long time, but when their mother passes under mysterious circumstances, an investigation quickly follows, and the siblings are high on the list of possible suspects. As they deal with the emotional tragedy of losing their only living parent, brother and sister are forced to team up against a master con man, someone they once called family. After the silver-tongued trickster disappears with the family fortune, Hazel and Kagan must put aside their differences to track him down. Along the way, they encounter a host of secrets, lies, and double crosses as they dive into the murky waters of their family's past. With an unlikely ally by their side, the siblings race against time, unraveling a web of deceit that's more tangled than they ever imagined. Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, I was like, no, yeah, it sounds good. I'm just, I love the brother. I'm so excited. I've been seeing more like brother and sister books coming.
I know.
And I'm like, hey, I love that. Siblings.
It's very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, The Perfect Guest by Casey Keller by Buccola. I'm home, she says, standing at my door with the sky blue backpack clutched tightly to her chest. I haven't seen my granddaughter in years, but I know she's hiding a deadly secret. It's been 10 years since I last saw Stephanie, but looking into her haunted eyes, she looks just as innocent as she did as a baby. I remember the photo of her wrapped in a little pink blanket, how my heart hurt not to hold her on the day she was born. Pulling her into a tight embrace, I promise her that although she's lost her mother, I will take care of her from now on, no matter what. But as I usher her inside, I can't help wondering if Stephanie knows my secrets, the real reason I hadn't seen her mother in years, or why she wasn't ever allowed to visit me at my house. Did my daughter take our family secrets to the grave? Stephanie's heart breaks when she talks about her mother, but soon details slip out about the night she died, and I begin to realize my granddaughter is just as good a liar as I am.
Ooh. Also, grandmother and granddaughter? I'm so into that. That's very a fun dynamic.
Yes. Very interesting. Unique. First person also.
Yeah. So sometimes I don't usually pick out the ones that do this, that do the first person in the summary. Cause I don't really, marketers, publishers, why are you doing this? It's not
interesting.
Some don't like it.
It's interesting.
It's an interesting choice. Not for me.
Not about it. I think it'll be good.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm excited about the book. I think the book sounds really good.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is called Old Soul, and this is a literary horror. It's by Susan Barker. It's coming out from G.P. Putnam. In Osaka, two strangers, Jake and Mariko, miss a flight and over dinner discover they both brutally lost loved ones whose paths crossed with the same beguiling woman no one has seen since. Following traces this mysterious person left behind, Jake travels from country to country, gathering chilling testimonies from others who encountered her across the decades. A trail of shattered souls that eventually leads him to Theo, a dying sculptor in rural New Mexico who knows the woman better than anyone and might just hold the key to who or what she is. Part horror, part Western, part thriller, Old Soul is fiercely bold and genre-defying tale about predation? I don't even know what predation is. Like being a predator? I think so. Morality and free will, and one man's quest to bring a centuries-long chain of human devastation to an end.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, I've seen this around for people who tend to like horror. I've been reading this, so.
The last one today we have is The Oligarch's Daughter by Joseph Finder from Harper. Paul Brightman is a man on the run, living under an assumed name in small New England town with $1 million bounty on his head. When his security is breached, Paul is forced to flee into the New Hampshire wilderness to evade Russian operatives who can seemingly predict his every move. Okay. 6 years ago, Paul was a rising star on Wall Street who fell in love with the beautiful photographer Tatiana, unaware that her father was a Russian oligarch and the object of considerable interest from several U.S. intelligence agencies. Now, to save his own life, Paul must unravel a decades-old conspiracy that extends to the highest reaches of the government. Rivaling the classic spy novels of the Cold War, The Oligarch's Daughter is built for the frightening world we live in now.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that heavy note. Yay!
Whoa.
Okay. Yeah, but I think this is a pretty banger pub day. There's a lot of really good ones that are out here. So congratulations, authors. Listeners, I'm sure you found something to pick up because there were a lot of options. So
you did. You found it.
Yep.
Congratulations. Tell me what you did. Okay, so the book that I'm talking about today is so good. You've heard of it, probably, and maybe not. But if not, I'll tell you about it. It's called Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman.
Oh.
It is horror. Audiobook, recommend. Because this book is the perspective of a little girl. That's right. Audiobook read from a little girl voice. Hello, terror.
Like the whole time?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know that I like that. Ooh.
Oh, you don't. You won't. It's so good.
Which is why I definitely need it.
You need it. It came out June 25, and you know him from Bird Box, or The House at the Bottom of the Lake, or It Waits in the Woods. Horrifying little freaking girl. Like, it's so scary. Okay. So this book is about Bella. So she's the girl who loves her family more than anything. She loves her mom, her daddo, her grandma, and even other mommy, a tall, hairy creature that lives in her closet and asks every day, "Can I go inside your heart?"
No.
Terrifying. That's right.
Horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Are they living in like an old, like,
heart, Bella?
house?
Oh, yeah. It's like a giant spider, hairy woman. Yeah. Imagine that one movie where there's that giant old lady mom creeper in the basement. You know it. It's like
Barbarian?
the Airbnb movie.
Yeah, Barbarian. Yeah. By the way, spoilers.
Yeah. Sorry. It's that, but it's in a closet, and it says, "Can I go inside your heart?" to a little girl. Hell yeah.
Okay, good.
Terrifying things start happening around the house, and other mommy is getting tired of asking the same question over and over. Bella realizes that other mommy is going to make her pay, and only the bonds of her family can keep her safe. But there's cracks in her family that she never knew about, and as secrets start to unravel, Bella has to decide if she wants to give other mommy an answer or run for her life.
Oh my gosh.
That's right. Yeah. Setting: Bella's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's set inside this house. It is. Yeah. That's right. Be scared. So, characters: Bella, little girl. Bella's mom is Ursula. Bella's dad is Russ. Other mommy is this entity living in the closet. That's right.
I don't like it.
10-foot hairy spider mom with unhinged jaws that wants to go in Bella's heart.
Jaws? What?
Oh, yeah. Imagine.
Okay, I'm definitely getting really excited.
Slender Man. It's like Slender Man, but with a black hole head. That's how I imagine other mommy. Okay. That's right. So, this book was so creepy. So creepy. I really love that it was from Bella's perspective. I thought the author did such a good job of writing from her point of view. This book was great because of what it doesn't say. So it leaves the horror up to the reader's imagination, and you can feel like there's something waiting for you around the corner in the dark the entire book. You can feel the buildup of dread as the entire family tries to do everything they can to escape other mommy without actually seeing or hearing her, but you know she's there, and the family's like running away, but other mommy's just like lurking.
Wait, so did they believe Bella?
You'll have to read it, okay? It's just like, honestly.
Okay, wait.
What did? Yes.
Sorry, when you listened to it on audio, what did you listen to it on? Like what speed?
2.
You listened to it on 2, and you still felt the terror.
Okay. Yeah.
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 Sometimes when it goes that fast, it like takes some of the tension out, which is why I was curious.
I listened to everything on 2. What worked and what didn't work. The story was about childhood trauma and family dynamics and innocence. So Malerman explores the way our childhood affects our adult lives and the things that we carry with us. I thought the juxtaposition of Bella and then her family like throws this party and there's all these different guests. I thought that was really well done. I loved it. There was a lot of deeper things going on in this story. A lot of the trigger warnings are childhood trauma, infidelity, neglect. It was kind of like these adults living their own selfish, self-absorbed lives, and then this little girl who just wants the attention of her parents and isn't getting it. And so, other mommy, there she is. Just anyway, it was 5 stars. Similar books. Fear Street, Goosebumps. Ooh. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like, yeah, that's the vibe.
Okay. That just like extra sold me. There you go. Okay.
Yeah. So
very nice.
It was horrifying.
And it's incidents around the house, right? Nice. Okay. My book is not a horror. It's not that scary.
Right.
It is a fantastic read. It is The Ascent by Allison Buccola.
Nice.
It is a psychological suspense, and it's going to be released this year on May 25th, 2025. And this is a woman named Ophelia, or Lee. She's a new mother, and she's got some serious abandonment issues. Not only is she a new mother with all those worries and fears that come with that, of like leaving your baby with somebody else for the first time, all of this, but she's a product of abandonment herself. Because Lee grew up in a reclusive commune, aka a cult, outside Philadelphia, until one day she woke up at 12 years old and the cult was gone. Everyone vanished. Mom, sisters, the leader, aunties, everyone. She was found wandering alone on the side of the road and has been able to maintain anonymity until now. A new documentary is being released about the 15, which is the vanished cult, and everyone's talking about it. Then a stranger shows up on her doorstep offering answers to all of Lee's questions about her past. If Lee could only trust that this woman is who she says she is. And can Lee keep her safe and stable life? Or will new revelations about the cult that went missing shatter everything?
Oh.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, that's like, so it's like Jamestown. You know?
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, or not Jamestown, Roanoke, whatever, where it's just like, poof.
Just gone. Yeah.
Okay, so my thoughts are, this story to me was completely captivating. When I read this, like, I literally fucked off of work and was so absorbed. I was like, I was like reading it and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not working today.
So I would.
Yeah. It's so good. And I think if you're a parent, the paranoia and fear that Lee has about losing her daughter is probably pretty relatable. And if you aren't, it's an interesting experience to see what that can be like for someone. Lee, I think, is a fully realized and sometimes frustrating character, but she's always interesting. I think this book does a really great job of depicting PTSD, in my opinion, as well as the psychological effects of abandonment. The mystery of the cult kept me guessing throughout. There was multiple timelines. The twist shocked me, floored me. I had no idea where this was going until it got there. I really enjoyed it, and I was so sucked in by the prose and everything about the story itself. I really, really enjoyed it. Trigger warnings is, like I said, psychological suspense. There's some psychological traumas that come with it. But if I say a lot of it, it might spoil things. So I really don't want to say too many things. But just know that there's nothing so overt that I feel like I have to warn people. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Rating is 5 stars. Similar books, I would say Anything by Liv Constantine. Oh. This Might Hurt by Stephanie Roble. And Lay Your Body Down by Amy Sweeter Clark.
So, sounds amazing.
Yeah. Fun.
I love it.
It's a fun book. Yeah. So definitely The Ascent comes out May 26th. Woohoo.
Whoa. Well, that's great. This is a great pub day. This is a great book day. I hope everybody found a good book to listen to or read, because you're welcome. We
you know what? This is the time. This is a great time in our lives to spend some time escaping.
Indoors with nothing else going on. If you need to just sit inside, we understand. Yeah. And then read while you're just sitting inside, escaping everyone and everything.
Absolutely.
Good for you. Good for you. Anyway, if you want to reach out to us, you can message us on Instagram at Thrillers by the Book Club pod. It's just like nobody's messaging us, so if you could do that, it's like we get so many. We do get messages, but they're not the messages we want. So
my gosh,
other people can message us that aren't.
If we could get anything other than like being propositioned, I'd love that. Like,
if someone else, you could proposition us, but not in the way that we've been propositioned. You know what I mean? Like proposition us with good ideas.
Yeah, I don't need to be. I mean, as much as I would love to have a sugar daddy.
I always say yes and send them my Venmo, and then they never Venmo me anything, which I feel like is rude, to be honest. But like, if you want my Venmo to give me money, I will be your sugar babe. You should. Anyway, you can reach out to me personally at Thriller Book Babe,
or me at Olivia Day Wallace. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good time. This is a good week for reading. So hope you guys found something new to pick up. And if you need to kill some time,
read a thriller.
There you go.
Bye.